The mysterious alien arrival. It was an ordinary morning when everything changed. The sun was rising over Earth, casting its golden light over the cities and fields. People were going about their daily routines, unaware that the world was about to experience something unlike anything they had ever seen before. Suddenly, the sky darkened. A low, rumbling sound echoed from above, making the ground tremble slightly. The people on the streets stopped and looked up. At first, they thought it was just a storm, but there were no clouds in sight. Then, without warning, a massive shadow blocked out the sun. It wasn't a cloud. It was something else, something far bigger, far more mysterious. The object in the sky was enormous. It looked like a spaceship, but nothing like the ones from movies or books. This one was sleek and smooth, with a dark metallic surface that shimmered in the light. The spaceship was silent as it hovered above the city, casting an eerie shadow over everything below. People stood frozen in place, staring up in disbelief. Some took out their phones, trying to capture the moment, while others ran inside, fearing the unknown. The ship didn't land. It just hovered there, motionless, as if studying the earth below. People watched, waiting for something to happen, but nothing did. The minutes turned into hours, and still, the ship remained in place, not moving an inch. Fear started to build in the hearts of the people. What did this alien ship want? Were they here to invade? To destroy? At the same time, other ships began to appear in the sky, not just one, but dozens, then hundreds. They came from every direction, all heading toward the same spot. The sky was soon filled with these dark shapes, hovering above the cities, towns, and fields. People on the ground could only watch in awe and fear. What was happening? The world's leaders were quick to react. Governments all over the globe scrambled to make sense of the situation. The United Nations called for an emergency meeting, and every country tried to communicate with the unknown visitors. The entire world was in a state of panic and confusion. Some governments immediately sent military forces to the skies, prepared for an attack. Others called for peaceful negotiations, hoping that the aliens might be here for peaceful purposes. As the hours passed, the aliens didn't make any moves to communicate. The ships just hovered, silent and still. It wasn't until late in the evening that the first sign of contact came. A beam of light shot down from one of the ships, landing in the center of a major city. People stood far away, unsure of what to do. The beam wasn't threatening. In fact, it was almost calming, like a warm glow that made people feel strangely safe. Still, they didn't know what to expect next. A small group of humans, led by scientists and diplomats, were sent to investigate the source of the beam. They approached the center of the light cautiously, unsure if they were walking into a trap. But as they got closer, they saw something truly unbelievable. There, standing in the middle of the beam, was an alien. The alien wasn't like anything anyone had imagined. It wasn't the terrifying, monstrous creature many had feared. Instead, it was humanoid, but its skin shimmered with a strange metallic sheen. It was tall, with an elegant posture, and its eyes glowed softly, like two stars in the night sky. The alien seemed peaceful, almost kind, as it watched the humans approach. The group of humans hesitated. They had no idea what this alien wanted. They had never encountered anything like it before. The air was thick with tension, as everyone waited for the alien to make the first move. The silence between them was unbearable, and people couldn't help but wonder what this alien's intentions were. Then the alien raised a hand, and the group of humans froze. Was it a sign of peace, or was it about to attack? But the alien didn't make any threatening gestures. Instead, it spoke. Its voice was soft, almost musical, but the words were difficult to understand. It wasn't speaking any language known on Earth. The humans stood still, trying to make sense of the alien's words. But then, something incredible happened. The words weren't just heard, they were felt. The alien seemed to communicate through emotions, through feelings. It wasn't just speaking. It was sending a message directly to their minds. In their heads, the humans heard a clear message. I come in peace. I am here to heal. You need not fear. The group of humans exchanged confused glances. Heal. What did that mean? Heal from what? They had no idea what this alien was talking about. The message continued in their minds. I have the ability to cure your sicknesses, your wounds. I offer you a gift, a way to live without pain, without suffering. Trust me. The words echoed in their minds, leaving them in stunned silence. What was this alien offering them? And why? Was it really a gift, or was there something hidden beneath the surface? The group of humans didn't know what to think. They were overwhelmed, caught between fear and hope. What should they do? The alien didn't wait for an answer. It simply turned and began to walk back toward the spaceship. The beam of light that had been illuminating it faded, and the alien vanished into the ship, leaving the humans standing in the street, speechless and confused. As the ship slowly rose into the sky, disappearing into the distance, the world was left with more questions than answers. Who were these aliens? And why had they come? What did they mean by healing? The world had just taken its first step into a new era, but no one knew what lay ahead. The mystery had only just begun. The doctor's offer. The silence that followed the mysterious alien encounter hung heavy over the world. Governments scrambled to react, while scientists and military officials sat at the edge of their seats, desperate to understand what had just occurred. But as days passed, it became clear that the aliens weren't going to answer any of their questions directly. They remained hidden, their intentions still unclear. Then, one day, a new announcement appeared from the alien ships, a message that would shake the world to its core. The aliens had decided to offer their help, not through diplomacy or weapons, but through something far more unexpected: healing. The announcement was broadcasted in every language across every news station. The voice that spoke was calm and soothing, unmistakably alien yet strangely comforting. We have the power to heal your wounds, both physical and mental. We offer you a gift, one that will change the future of your kind. The message sent shockwaves through the world. People didn't know what to think. Heal. Heal from what? Humanity had only just started to recover from its own wars, its own battles. Were the aliens offering a cure to disease, to war-torn countries, to the hunger and poverty that plagued many nations? But that wasn't all. The aliens didn't stop at just words. A week later, a new ship descended from the skies, this one different from the others. It was smaller, sleek, and unassuming, with a gentle light emanating from within it. The ship landed in the middle of a major city where a crowd had gathered. People waited, holding their breath, unsure if this was another trap or the answer to their prayers. As the ship's hatch slowly opened, out stepped a figure unlike any they had seen before. The alien doctor was taller than most humans, with shimmering skin that seemed to pulse with energy. Its eyes glowed like stars, radiating an aura of calmness and wisdom. It wasn't here to invade or conquer. It wasn't here to threaten. It was here to heal. The alien doctor raised its hand in greeting. The crowd stood frozen, unsure of what to do. But the alien's presence was so peaceful, so serene, that the fear started to melt away. The doctor spoke softly, its voice resonating in the minds of the humans before it. Greetings, Earthlings. I am here to offer you the gift of healing. I come not with force, but with compassion. My kind has evolved beyond the need for war, beyond the need for suffering. I bring with me the means to erase pain, to cure disease, and to help you live without fear. The crowd gasped. Could it be true? Could this alien actually heal them? But even more shocking than the offer was the question that followed. Why? The alien doctor explained. My species has traveled across the galaxy, visiting many worlds, and we have learned that every civilization, no matter how advanced, suffers in one way or another. Some suffer from war, some from disease, others from fear. We, too, once faced these challenges, but we found a way to heal, to transcend suffering. The aliens' words were powerful, and yet there was an unsettling feeling in the air. Why had they chosen Earth? Why now? Why did they care about human suffering? I do not seek your trust for my benefit, the alien doctor continued. I seek it for yours. For your species, I offer you the chance to evolve beyond pain and suffering, to live without the burden of disease or injury. Accept my gift, and you will no longer need to fear what time and illness can take from you. The doctor's offer was genuine. There was no deception in its tone, no hidden agenda behind its words. But even so, the people were skeptical. Could this really be a gift? Or was there something more to it than met the eye? A few brave individuals stepped forward, willing to take the risk. The alien doctor handed them a small glowing device. It was no bigger than a human hand, sleek and metallic, almost like a miniature machine. The doctor explained that the device could heal anything from a small cut to life-threatening illnesses. It would scan the body and immediately begin the healing process, repairing damage at a cellular level. The first person to volunteer was a woman suffering from a rare terminal illness. She had been given only months to live, but in an act of desperation and hope, she stepped forward. The alien doctor placed the device gently on her arm, and the glow from the machine enveloped her body. The crowd held its breath. Moments passed, and the woman blinked, confused. Then she began to smile. Her skin, once pale and sickly, now seemed vibrant, full of life. The crowd erupted in astonished gasps. The alien doctor had done it. The woman was healed. Word spread quickly. The doctor's offer wasn't just a promise, it was real. People lined up to be healed. The elderly, the sick, the injured, all of them wanted to be free from the pain that had held them back for so long. But even as more and more humans accepted the offer, questions began to rise. How could such a healing method exist? Was there a catch? Could they trust the alien doctor's intentions? What would happen to humanity if they accepted this gift? Would they remain in control of their own destiny, or would they become dependent on the alien's power? The air was thick with uncertainty. For some, the alien doctor's offer seemed too good to be true. But for others, it was a dream come true. The question now was, would humanity accept the gift of healing, or would they reject it, fearing what they didn't understand? As the world watched, divided and unsure, one thing was clear. The alien doctor had made an offer that could change everything. Testing the limits. As the world watched in awe, the alien doctor's offer continued to spread, reaching every corner of the globe. People lined up in droves, eager to be healed. It seemed like a miracle, a gift from the stars, too incredible to ignore. Yet, with every new success, an uneasy tension lingered in the air. The healing worked, but at what cost? What were the true limits of this technology? A series of public demonstrations was scheduled, and the world tuned in to witness the next phase of the alien doctor's promise. But this time, it wouldn't be the typical case of a common cold or small wound. The alien doctor was about to test its healing methods on something much more serious. In a high-security hospital, a volunteer soldier, severely injured in a previous conflict, was prepared to undergo the procedure. His body was broken, his left leg shattered beyond repair, and his internal organs had suffered severe trauma from an explosion. Doctors and medical experts were skeptical. No human technology could repair such extensive damage so quickly, yet they couldn't deny the alien's success so far. The soldier, a man named James, stood nervously at the center of the room, surrounded by doctors, scientists, and reporters. As the alien doctor entered the room, there was an odd sense of calm. The alien's presence had become less terrifying, more reassuring. It didn't need to speak. Its mere presence seemed to radiate peace. The alien approached James and placed its glowing device on his shattered leg. The room fell into a hushed silence. Everyone watched, their breath caught in anticipation. A soft hum filled the air as the alien's machine began its work. At first, nothing seemed to happen. But then, slowly, the shattered bones began to shift, realigning themselves with unnatural precision. The glow from the device intensified, its light growing brighter as the healing process accelerated. The soldier grimaced in pain for a moment. Then, just as quickly, the pain vanished. The light began to fade as the device finished its work. James looked down in shock. His leg, which had been mangled beyond belief, was now completely whole. The doctors rushed to examine him, their minds struggling to comprehend the impossibility of what they were seeing. The soldier stood up on his feet, his once broken body restored. The world erupted in astonishment. People cheered and celebrated, but the scientists in the room were filled with more questions than answers. The alien doctor's technology was unlike anything they had ever seen. But it wasn't just the leg. James' entire body was healed. His internal organs, once damaged beyond repair, were functioning as if they had never been harmed. It was nothing short of miraculous. But as the euphoria began to settle, one question remained. What would happen next? What were the limits of this alien healing method? Over the next few weeks, more cases were brought to the alien doctor. People with chronic conditions, rare diseases, and debilitating injuries lined up to be healed. Some were skeptical, others hopeful. But with each new treatment, the excitement grew. The world seemed to be on the verge of an incredible new age, one where no disease, no injury was beyond repair. Yet, the more they saw, the more unsettling things became. A young woman, diagnosed with a terminal illness, was healed by the alien doctor. But after the procedure, she started experiencing vivid dreams, dreams that felt more like memories. She began to see things, hear things that weren't there. It was as though the healing had unlocked something inside her, something deep and hidden. At first, the dreams were beautiful, filled with colors and sounds that didn't belong to Earth. But soon, they became darker, filled with disturbing visions and strange voices. The woman couldn't escape them. No matter how hard she tried, the dreams haunted her, keeping her awake at night. She wasn't the only one. As more people received treatment, similar reports began to surface. Some claimed to feel a strange connection to the alien doctor, as if the healing process had awakened something within them. Others reported heightened senses, strange abilities they couldn't explain, like the ability to understand other languages or hear distant voices. Was this a side effect of the healing process, or was there something more to it? The alien doctor had promised a gift, but now people were starting to wonder if this gift came with unintended consequences. Meanwhile, a group of scientists had begun investigating the alien technology. They discovered something troubling. The device the doctor used didn't just heal. It seemed to rewire the body at a fundamental level. The alien healing wasn't just curing disease. It was altering the very essence of human biology. It was as though the device was reshaping them, not just healing, but changing who they were at their core. The scientists were torn. On one hand, they couldn't deny the benefits. The healing was real, and it was incredible. But on the other hand, they were now faced with a terrifying thought. What was the cost of this kind of change? Were the people who had been healed still the same humans they were before? The alien doctor had not warned them of these effects. Had it known about them? Or was this an unintended side effect of the healing technology? Questions piled up, and fear began to spread. While many celebrated their newfound health, others began to worry. What was happening to their bodies? What were they becoming? And the bigger question loomed. Was this healing truly a gift? Or was the alien doctor giving humanity something far more powerful and dangerous than anyone could have ever imagined? As the world continued to test the limits of this incredible healing, the lines between hope and fear began to blur. Was this the beginning of a new era for humanity, or the start of something much darker? The answers, it seemed, were still far out of reach. The hidden consequences. As the world continued to embrace the alien doctor's healing, The excitement reached a fever pitch. Governments, medical institutions, and everyday people were praising the gift of health that had been bestowed upon them. It seemed as though humanity had entered a new age, one free of disease, pain, and suffering. But beneath the surface, something darker was beginning to stir. At first, the strange side effects that some individuals experienced were brushed aside. The vivid dreams, the heightened senses, the unusual abilities. People shrugged it off as minor glitches. After all, who could complain when the benefits were so vast? But as more time passed, it became clear that these glitches weren't so small anymore. The first signs were subtle. A woman, once healed from a life-threatening disease, began to experience strange cravings. At night, she would wake up in a cold sweat, consumed by an overwhelming hunger for foods she had never even tasted before, alien fruits, foreign meats that weren't available on Earth. She couldn't explain it, but the cravings were undeniable. Soon after, other reports started flooding in. People who had been healed began to feel disconnected from the world around them. The bond they once felt with their loved ones seemed to fade, replaced by an odd sense of detachment. The healed individuals no longer seemed like themselves. Their personalities, once warm and vibrant, were now cold and distant. They seemed to lose touch with the emotions they once held dear, and a strange, almost robotic quality began to surface in their behavior. But the most disturbing side effect was something far more unsettling. People who had been healed began to experience vivid, often terrifying dreams. These dreams weren't just random. They were visions of alien worlds, of places and beings that defied human understanding. The dreams were filled with strange landscapes, with cities made of materials that didn't exist on Earth. And most disturbingly of all, the dreams began to feel real, as if the dreamers were living in these alien places, experiencing a reality that wasn't their own. One woman, who had been healed from a life-threatening condition, found herself waking up every night in the middle of a vast, dark forest. She could hear strange creatures lurking in the shadows, their voices calling her name. She couldn't escape. The dreams had a hold on her, and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free from the alien world they had dragged her into. As the dreams became more frequent and intense, some of the healed began to lose their grip on reality. They couldn't tell where their dreams ended and the real world began. One man, a former scientist who had been cured of a rare neurological disease, started speaking in a language no one could understand. His words weren't from any human tongue. They were alien, almost musical, and completely incomprehensible. The alien doctor, who had once been hailed as a savior, now stood at the center of growing concern. What had begun as a blessing had turned into something more complicated, more dangerous. People began to wonder, what had they truly been given? The healing, or something far more invasive? Rumors began to spread that the alien doctor was not simply healing humans, but was somehow altering them, changing their biology at a deeper level, imbuing them with something they didn't fully understand. Some even began to believe that the alien doctor wasn't just curing their ailments. It was planting something inside them, something that might one day take control. Scientists, once eager to study the alien technology, now found themselves trapped in a dilemma. The healing worked, but the changes in the patients couldn't be ignored. They began to investigate the device more thoroughly, trying to understand how it was affecting the human mind and body on a deeper level. But with every test, the answers became more elusive, and the fear grew stronger. One group of researchers uncovered a startling truth. The healing device wasn't just repairing the body. It was rewiring the brain. It was as if the device had tapped into the very essence of the human mind, reshaping it in ways that no one could predict. The longer a person was healed, the more disconnected they became from their original selves. They were becoming something else, something alien. But it didn't stop there. Some of the healed began to exhibit strange physical changes, slight alterations in their appearance that weren't there before. Their eyes, once normal, began to glow faintly, similar to the alien doctor's own eyes. Their skin, once human, began to take on a metallic sheen. It was subtle at first, but as more and more people were healed, the changes became undeniable. The world was beginning to unravel. The alien doctor, once a symbol of hope, was now a figure of suspicion. Was this really a gift, or was there a darker purpose behind it? Some theorized that the aliens were slowly integrating themselves into human society, not with an invasion of force, but with an invasion of biology. They were changing humanity from the inside out. As the population of healed humans grew, the alien doctor made a cryptic announcement. Change is inevitable. Evolution is a force beyond your control. The healing I offer will transform your species, but it will also make you stronger. The future is in your hands. But what did that mean? Was this the beginning of a new era for humanity, one where humans and aliens would coexist as one? Or was this transformation leading to something far darker, a world where the line between human and alien would disappear altogether? In the days that followed, protests began to break out across the globe. Some people were angry, demanding that the healing be stopped before it was too late. Others, however, embraced the changes, believing that the alien doctor's gifts were worth the price. The world was divided, and no one knew what the future would hold. The hidden consequences of the healing had started to surface, and now humanity was faced with a choice: accept the changes and evolve into something new, or reject the gift, risking the possibility of losing it all. The decision would shape the future of the human race, but no one knew what would happen if they chose wrong. As the tension grew, one thing was certain: the alien doctor had given humanity more than they had ever imagined. The question was, would they be able to live with the consequences, the aliens' true intentions? As the world grappled with the growing consequences of the alien doctor's healing methods, the once celebrated figure now stood at the center of a growing storm. People were divided. Some worshipped the doctor as a savior, while others saw it as the beginning of a terrifying transformation. The questions, once centered around whether the healing was real, had now shifted to something far more unsettling. Why had the alien doctor come to Earth, and what was it really trying to achieve? The first hints of truth began to surface when a group of investigative journalists, skeptical of the aliens' benevolence, managed to sneak into one of the alien ships under the cover of darkness. With no clear answers from the alien doctor itself, they decided to uncover the mystery behind the healer's origins. Inside the ship, they found what could only be described as an ancient, sprawling archive. It wasn't just technology. They discovered thousands of records documenting the histories of countless species across the galaxy. Every page they uncovered seemed to tell a similar story. A race of advanced beings, once struggling with their own survival, had spread across the stars, offering their healing to other civilizations. Some had accepted it eagerly, while others had resisted, sensing that this gift was too perfect to be true. The journalist's discovery sent shockwaves through the world. The alien doctor wasn't offering a one-time cure. It was part of a larger, ancient plan. This healing method, it seemed, was not just about alleviating suffering. It was about control. Over the centuries, the aliens had visited countless planets, offering their technology to civilizations that were on the brink of collapse. They would heal, restore, and bring prosperity. But as the years passed, the once thriving civilizations began to change. They became more dependent on the aliens, losing their independence, their cultures, and eventually, their humanity. The journalists discovered that the alien doctor's kind had never truly saved anyone. They had merely transformed them, reshaping their biology and minds to fit a pattern that the aliens themselves had perfected over millennia. The healed were no longer free. They were part of the aliens' master plan to assimilate, to transform other species into extensions of themselves. Over time, the healed became subservient to the alien doctors. Their personalities eroded, their free will diminished. The world now stood on the precipice of a terrifying realization. The aliens' gift wasn't just a blessing. It was a subtle form of control. The doctor had never sought to help humanity as equals. Instead, it had come to reshape Earth, to make humanity into something else, something that could be molded and controlled. The healing wasn't just about fixing the body. It was about remaking the mind, reprogramming the very essence of what it meant to be human. As the truth spread, panic began to sweep across Earth. People who had been healed, now more alien than human, started to exhibit behaviors that were increasingly detached from the world they once knew. Some began to communicate with the alien ships, speaking in languages only they seemed to understand. Others, as their bodies continued to evolve, began to resemble the aliens more and more. Eyes glowing, skin shimmering with metallic hues, their thoughts no longer entirely their own. A government official, once an advocate of the alien doctor's methods, now stood in front of the global community, his voice trembling with fear. The alien doctor is not here to help us. It is here to change us. It has offered us healing, yes, but at what cost? We have become part of its plan. We are being transformed, remade into something we no longer recognize. But even as the truth emerged, the alien doctor remained eerily calm. It had known this moment would come. The message it sent to Earth was clear. I did not come to destroy you. I came to help you evolve. You are on the brink of a new age, one where suffering no longer holds you back. You will transcend the limits of your biology. You will no longer fear death, disease, or decay. The alien's words, once comforting, now felt like a chilling command. The aliens were not conquerors in the traditional sense. They didn't need to fight or destroy to take over. They simply changed the species they encountered, offering them an impossible choice: evolve or wither away. And those who resisted, those who rejected the gift of healing, were left to face their natural end. The world was divided more than ever. Some saw the alien doctor as a messiah, believing that the evolution it promised would lead to a utopian future, one where humans would no longer be bound by the weaknesses of their biology. Others saw it as an invasion, an existential threat that would strip humanity of its very identity. One faction, made up of both healed and unhealed individuals, decided to fight back. They didn't want to become part of this alien plan, nor did they want to see their children or grandchildren subjected to the same fate. They knew they had to act before it was too late. They began to search for ways to reverse the effects of the healing. But the deeper they delved, the more they realized just how deeply the alien influence had seeped into their world. The healing was more than just physical. It had altered the very DNA of humanity. Reversing the process would mean undoing the changes that had already begun, not just in individuals, but in the entire human race. As the resistance grew, so did the aliens' presence. The ships hovered above Earth, watching, waiting. The alien doctor had played its cards carefully, and now, it seemed, the humans had no choice but to either accept the transformation or face extinction, as they once knew it. The question remained: could humanity retain its identity in the face of such overwhelming change? Or would the alien doctor succeed in reshaping humanity into something unrecognizable, something that no longer feared death, because it no longer had the capacity to fear anything at all? The true battle had just begun, and it wasn't just about survival. It was about what it meant to be human. A shocking discovery. The world stood at the edge of a precipice. Humanity had been offered a choice: evolve or resist, and many had already embraced the alien doctor's gift, unaware of the deeper consequences that had begun to unfold. Those who had been healed began to change physically, mentally, and emotionally, but there was still so much that wasn't known. The resistance movement, made up of the few who refused the healing and those who now sought to undo its effects, knew they had limited time to act, but they didn't know where to begin. In the underground labs, a small group of scientists, now exiled from their former institutions, had gathered. They had been researching the alien healing technology ever since the truth came to light. What they discovered in the archives had confirmed their fears. The alien doctor's gifts weren't simply about fixing the human body. They were about reprogramming it, rewriting the very core of human identity. But there was more, much more. The group had been working in secret, trying to reverse the changes that had been made to those who had been healed. They focused on finding a way to isolate the changes. If it could be reversed in one person, it could be reversed in all. But there was one aspect of the alien healing that no one had been able to understand until now. One scientist, Dr. Elena Voss, stumbled upon a document in the depths of the alien ship's database, a document that had been hidden, buried under layers of code. As she decrypted it, a cold shiver ran down her spine. The document wasn't just a report on the healing process. It was a blueprint, a roadmap of humanity's future. The blueprint described an integration process, one that detailed the steps by which the alien doctor species would take over the planet, not through force or aggression, but through transformation. The healing process was not just physical. It was a precursor to full assimilation. The device that had been healing humans wasn't merely repairing bodies. It was preparing them for a much deeper, more profound change. It was the first step toward merging human and alien DNA, creating a hybrid species that would serve the alien race. The more Dr. Voss read, the more horrifying the implications became. The plan wasn't just to heal the people of Earth. It was to transform them into something entirely new. The healed would no longer be human in any real sense. They would become part of the alien collective, their free will lost in the process. The heightened abilities, the strange dreams, the emotional detachment, they were all part of a systematic change that would make humans more like the aliens themselves. But they would still look human, at least for a time. This wasn't just about conquering Earth. It was about erasing humanity. The alien race didn't need to fight wars to take over. They simply needed to make humanity evolve in their image, turning humans into extensions of themselves. The healing wasn't a gift. It was a process of gradual assimilation, one that would eventually erase every trace of human individuality. Dr. Voss immediately shared the discovery with her colleagues, but their reaction was a mixture of shock, fear, and disbelief. They had no idea how far the alien plan had gone. They had believed that the healing was simply an advanced form of medicine. But now, they saw it for what it truly was, an invasion so subtle, so insidious, that the world had welcomed it with open arms. The group realized that they had only a narrow window to act before it was too late. The resistance, despite its growing numbers, had no idea how deeply entrenched the alien influence had become. Those who had already been healed were no longer fully human, physically, mentally, and emotionally. They had changed. The healed individuals were already starting to integrate with the alien network, communicating through their strange new abilities, serving as conduits for the aliens' will. In their desperation, Dr. Voss and her team decided to take a drastic step. They would attempt to shut down the healing device altogether, stop the transformation process before it could reach its final stage. They knew it wouldn't be easy. The aliens had made sure their technology was nearly indestructible, and any attempt to tamper with it would likely lead to retaliation. But it was the only chance humanity had. The team managed to find the source of the alien technology deep within the main ship, a central core that powered the entire system. It was here that the final stage of the assimilation took place, where the merged DNA and consciousness would become irreversible. They planned to shut down the core, hoping to stop the process in its tracks and reverse the effects on those who had already been altered. But as they made their way toward the core, they were intercepted by a group of healed individuals, humans who had already undergone the transformation. They were no longer fully human. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and their movements were fluid, almost mechanical. They spoke in the alien language, their voices carrying an eerie resonance. They had become extensions of the alien race, and now they were protecting the very technology that had changed them. The resistant scientists realized too late that the healed were no longer on their side. They had become pawns in the alien doctor's plan, and they were now an obstacle to the humans who still resisted. The healed individuals moved swiftly and efficiently, blocking the path to the core. They were an army of the transformed, and they had been given orders to protect the alien race's future on Earth at all costs. In that moment, the true extent of the alien doctor's power became clear. It wasn't just a matter of technology. The aliens had already begun to rewrite the very fabric of human society. The healed were no longer just victims. They were soldiers in a quiet, invisible war, and Earth was losing. The resistance had no choice but to retreat, but as they did, the reality of their situation sank in. The battle for humanity's future was no longer about fighting off alien invaders. It was about fighting against a force so deeply embedded in humanity itself that even the humans who had resisted were now at risk of becoming part of the alien plan. And the worst part, the aliens were no longer hiding. They were already here, living among them, shaping humanity's destiny. The shocking discovery had set the stage for a new conflict, one that could decide the fate of the entire human race. The final decision. The world had reached a tipping point. What had begun as a hopeful offering, a miraculous healing gift from an alien species, had now revealed itself to be a complex and terrifying transformation. The alien doctor's true intentions were clear. Humanity was not being saved. It was being altered, reprogrammed into something alien. The resistance, despite their best efforts, had been unable to stop the growing tide of change. The healed humans, now more alien than human, had become an unstoppable force. They had begun to merge with the alien network, communicating through shared consciousness, their identities slipping further away with every passing day. The line between the healed and the rest of humanity was blurring, and those who had resisted the alien transformation were feeling the pressure. Was there any hope left? The global community was split. Some felt it was too late to resist, too late to fight back against the aliens who had integrated themselves so deeply into their society. The healed, now seemingly everywhere, walked through cities, gathering in groups, their glowing eyes a constant reminder of the transformation taking place. For many, the choice was clear: to accept the future that the alien doctor had promised, or to fight a battle that could no longer be won. But in the shadows, a small group of humans, those who had refused the healing, and a few unhealed individuals who had managed to evade the alien influence, were not ready to give up. They knew that the aliens had underestimated one thing: humanity's will to survive, its drive to remain human, to hold on to what made them unique. They might be changing, but they weren't done yet. Dr. Elena Voss, one of the key scientists in the resistance, had spent weeks working on a plan, an idea born from her discovery of the alien technology's core. If humanity had any chance of reclaiming its future, it lay in the ability to cut off the alien influence at its source. She believed that if the central core, the brain of the alien network, could be destroyed, the transformation could be halted. The healed, those who had fully integrated, could be freed from their bond with the alien collective, their minds and bodies returned to their original states. But time was running out. The final decision loomed. Should they risk everything to destroy the core, knowing the alien doctor would stop at nothing to protect it? Or should they accept the inevitable, join the alien collective, and abandon their fight to preserve their humanity? Dr. Voss and the remaining members of the resistance, knowing the dangers, gathered in secret. They had one chance. They had to reach the core and destroy it before the alien doctor's influence could be permanently integrated into Earth's very infrastructure. The healed soldiers guarding the path to the core were becoming more and more difficult to evade. Their strength, speed, and alien abilities far surpassing anything humanity had ever known. As they moved closer to the central hub of the alien ship, the atmosphere grew heavier. The walls pulsed with an eerie, soft glow, and the air felt thick with energy. The group paused for a moment, understanding the magnitude of what they were about to do. It wasn't just a fight for survival anymore. It was a fight for the very soul of humanity. The core room was a vast chamber, unlike anything they had ever seen. It was both organic and technological, a fusion of alien design that felt alive. In the center, the core, an immense crystalline structure, glowed with a soft, pulsating light. The moment they entered the room, a voice echoed in their minds. It wasn't spoken aloud, but rather transmitted directly into their thoughts. "You cannot undo what has been done," the alien doctor's voice said, calm and measured. "Your species will evolve, just as countless others have. This is the future. You will become one with us. With time, you will understand that this is the only path." But the resistance was resolute. They moved forward, determined to stop the transformation. They planted explosive charges around the core, but as they did, a sudden realization struck them. The core wasn't just a power source. It was the key to the alien consciousness. Destroying it would mean severing the collective mind that had connected the healed, cutting them off from the alien race entirely. As they set the final charge, the tension was unbearable. The countdown began, and the group looked at each other, knowing this could be the last moment they had together. They could sense the alien doctor's presence, its influence already beginning to flood their thoughts, trying to break their resolve. But they had made their decision. Humanity had a choice: to embrace the alien transformation, or to preserve the identity and freedom that had defined their species for millennia. The core's pulsations grew louder as the countdown reached its final seconds. The alien doctor's voice returned, this time filled with a sense of finality. "You cannot fight evolution. You will not win." But just as the final second ticked down, the charges detonated. The explosion was deafening, shaking the very foundation of the alien ship. The core shattered, its glowing light fading as the shockwaves spread. The walls of the ship began to tremble, and the strange bond between the healed and the alien collective began to break. For a moment, the world was silent. The battle was over, but the consequences were still unknown. Would the alien influence dissipate? Would humanity be able to reclaim its future, or would the scars of the transformation remain, forever altering who they were? The remaining healed individuals stumbled, their minds slowly reconnecting to their lost humanity. They were free from the alien influence, but the process had taken its toll. Their memories of the transformation were hazy, and many struggled to remember who they had been before the healing. For some, the effects were irreversible, but for others, a glimmer of humanity began to resurface. As the dust settled, and the alien ship began to fall from the sky, humanity faced its future. The choice had been made. They had fought to preserve their humanity, even if it meant enduring unimaginable challenges. The healing, the transformation, the alien influence, it was over. The human race had been tested, but it had not given in. In the end, the true cost of survival was not just the battle against the aliens. It was the battle to retain what made them human in the first place. And as the world began to rebuild, they knew that the future was uncertain. But for the first time in a long time, humanity could finally choose its own path. The final decision had been made, and humanity, in its unyielding spirit, had chosen freedom.